So good morning, everybody. Today we are back at the Asansol Christian Cemetery, and today we are going to try and do a vlog on all the old graves that are here. So we'll try and just take a round and just find out which are the oldest graves out here. So we start with this one. This, we are told, is one of the first graves that were laid here in the Asansol Christian Cemetery. So this goes back to the British Raj, and it says Albert James Ross. Died on the 17th of October 1903. 40 years, 1 month and 6 days. So this is one of the first graves that we have in the Asansol Christian Cemetery. Now, like this, we've got a few more that are unattended. If you look here, this is a grave here, but there's no stone maker, nothing. So this is one more here, which doesn't have a nameplate on it. And in time, we would like to clean up and sort of maintain these graves. So there is a book lying in the church, so we'll try and get down and see if we can put a name to these unmarked graves. So this is another one. I'll just give you a glimpse. This is another grave. Sadly, most of the headstones are not here right now, but this is the grave of Hugh Allen Robinson, born in 1889, died in November of 1907. These graves go back a long time, and we would like to start maintaining these graves and trying to, give them names and a sort of an uplift. Okay, this is another one. William Henry Russell, born in 1888, died in 1906 on the 24th of November. So this is one more of the old graves that we have in the Asansol Christian Cemetery. This is one more. And this grave is of Florence Isabel Rodericks. Died on the 4th of July 1906. This is another very old grave in our Asansol Christian Cemetery. So this is one more, and this belongs to a James Fuller, 1906 again. So all of these graves, we want to sort of maintain them and try and clean them up. This is all the history of the Asansol Christian Cemetery that we intend to sort of maintain. This is one more old grave, and the headstone is sort of fallen back, but the name on this grave, as you can see, is Samuel Rodericks, and he also died in December of 1907. So these are all the old graves here that we intend to maintain. This is one more. The name is not very clear. Williams, died 20th April 1920. There are so many of these graves just lying unattended, and we thought we'll just do something about this. Some of the old graves have been reused As you can see, this one. Now, this grave has been reused, but if you look at the stone, the headstone, this looks like an old grave, very old, which has been reused. So we'll try and see if we can find the book which has the grave, the plot numbers. We'll try and get a list of each grave that is here, so that we can at least put a name to each of these graves. So this grave here is of a little kid, small baby, Doris Ivy Blossom Arakin, born January 21st, 1920, died September 4th, 1920. So this is another one of the very old graves, and it's sad that they just have to lie unattended like this. So we'll try and, touch them up and clean them up, and if we can, try and put a name onto as many graves as we can. So all these graves are all just lying unattended. There was a time where we could not come this side because there was a huge jungle out here, but now that we've cleaned it all up, we've come across all these graves, and this year we intend to clean them all up and just get them to look a little presentable. Hopefully, if we can get names onto them, we'll be able to maintain them all and just clean them up a bit. To redo and re-cement and concrete these graves would cost a lot, so we may not be able to go that far, but the least that we can do is just clean them up and try and see if we can give them names. Here too, there are a few graves here that you can see, here and here, and then up against that wall there. These are all graves which date back to the British Raj. So, very old graves. This one is Kathleen Maud Bernard. Died at Sitarampur on 10th of September 1923, 21 years old. So these are all the old graves that are in the Asansol Christian Cemetery. And there are still many of them that are just lying unattended and uncared for so many years. As you can see, all these graves. As I said, unfortunately, we may not have the funds to repair them, but the most that we can do is we can get them cleaned up a bit, and if we can at least put a name to some of these graves. So now that all this part of the cemetery has been cleaned, it's exposed all these graves to us, which now we plan to do something about them, just maintain them a bit and clean them up a bit. This one is Antonis Ivan John, 1926. So yeah, all the headstones have been removed. So this one, there's no headstone on it. Another very old grave, looks like of a small kid. Here too, this looks like a grave too, which we'll have to clean this all up. All these very old graves. This one looks like the headstone is lying here. Anand Mall, 1925. Died in 1925 on the 7th of April, age 40 years. So all these graves that you see here are all of small kids. And if I remember right, in the early 1900s there was a sort of a illness that hit West Bengal, and a lot of the small kids were affected by it. So these are the graves. There was some sort of a illness, typhoid or jaundice or something, that hit West Bengal in a big way, and back in the day there was no cure for it. So these are the graves of all the small little kids that died because of that. So if we can put names to these, we'll try and do a sort of a research and see if we can name these graves, because there's such a lot of them all around here. So this is another one. It says, in loving memory of our mother, M. Tyers, died 9th of March 1927, 65 years old. This is the grave. Here too, as you can see, there's a few more here. It's very hard to find names because the headstones are pretty messed up. There's no name on this, but gravestone is there. There's one more here. These are all the old graves just lying around. So you can see. Writings are pretty distorted. This one is of Claire Love, 1931. I don't know if you can make that out, but these are all old gravestones. We'll need to just clean them up a bit and make them at least look a little presentable, which we intend doing. So all these graves date back to before Indian independence, way back in time of the British Raj. This looks like another little child here, so you can see. And I need to look this up, but I'm sure all these little kids died in the early 1900s because of a stroke of typhoid or jaundice. Because there are a whole lot of small little kids' graves at this side of the cemetery. So you can see there's one there. There's one there. That's one. All these graves are scattered all this side, and most of us couldn't see these graves because of the jungle that was here for so many years. Here's another little kid. And one more here. There's another small one here, unattended, which we just want to maintain these in whichever small way that we can. Most of the gravestones are just lying around out here, but all these are graves which actually take us right back to the early 1900s. Just lying unattended and uncared for. Now we'll see, and we'll try and do as much as we can to sort of restore them a bit. Most of the headstones are gone, so there's no names on these at all. All these graves just lying unattended. Most of it we didn't even know existed till all this jungle was cleansed. As you can see, there's graves there and there. So many of them. There's one right at the back there. As I said, hopefully we're going to try to clean up as many of these old graves as we can and see how we can maintain them to our best. So that's an update from us regards the old graves of the Asansol Christian Cemetery. And like these, you know, we've got a few of them that side as well. There's such a lot of them. So it will take us a little bit of time, but slowly we'll try and clean up as many as we can as we go on this year, and we'll see how long it takes. So that's a little update on our Asansol Christian Cemetery and the history that we have lying out here. So take care, guys, and God bless you all.